Welcome to our live broadcast. It's Grand Prix Sunday here at the Hampton Classic Horse Show. And look who's joined us. Carly Anthony.
Good afternoon.
You did pretty good yesterday, didn't you?
Thank you. Wow, my horse jumped fantastic. So I ended on a high note and very happy with how this week went.
Well, thank you for coming by, saying hello to us, and helping us kick off this Hampton Classic Grand Prix. This will be an exciting day.
Yes, it will, and it couldn't be a more perfect day for show jumping. Nice breeze, beautiful weather.
A lot of horses.
And a pretty good crowd.
Excellent. Peter Leon. Peter, thank you for all you do. Everywhere I go, everyone is saying, we love Peter Leon. I don't know if that means they don't love me, but in any event, I'll take it.
Well, we'll take it as a team win, Ernie. It's so exciting. The stands are full, the VIP tent brimming with people, but all respectfully spaced out for this 2021 Hampton Classic Grand Prix Sunday. The crowds were a little light over the weekend, but it's so exciting. We've got the buzz of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix Sunday that we've come to know and love. We're here. There's a very, very big course, and I'd like to talk about that if we may.
Yes, please.
Well, Alan Wade is our course designer. When you talk about the best course designers in the world, Alan Wade is one of those names that comes up. And he often is considered the best in the world. He's here with us at the Hampton Classic. He set the sequence of obstacles, the height, the dimension, the design. So he's the one. He's the master.
Now, we will have an animation of a course walk very shortly. Our director will cue us. So we do have that, and I'd like to have your commentary once we do that course walk. When
I just can't contain my excitement,
I know
Ernie.
you.
The course is big. The striding questions are technical. This is the first real humdinger of a course we've had all week. Not to take anything away from yesterday, Carly, and you had a fantastic result.
This is
one-time fault, a top ribbon. I mean, you had a wonderful Hampton Classic.
Thank you.
But today, it's one of those where as a horse-rider combination, you stand in the in-game and you're like, geez, I really hope I can do this. It's that big. It's that tough.
Now, we're keeping an eye on the Grand Prix ring because there's a lot going on, including honoring, I believe, the
silver medal team, United States, at the Tokyo Olympic Games. That's our show jumping team. One of our four riders that represented us in Tokyo will be jumping here today. That's five-time Olympic veteran McLean Ward. He's on a roll. He's currently wearing the Longines rider sash. He wants a really good class today. He's a seven-time winner of this event. He jumped for us in the Olympic Games in Tokyo. He'd like to win it an eighth time. He'd like to retain that leading rider sash, in which you get big money and a beautiful Longines watch.
Carly, you elected not to be part of this class today?
I chose not to compete today. This was my first year competing at the Hampton Classic at the FEI level. So I wanted to come out today, walk, watch, and have that be my goal to come back next year and beat McLean, yes, win. And I feel like I can have a good view of how it's going to go today so I can prepare for next year.
Absolutely. Beat McLean. I've heard that
well,
before.
I mean, he's the guy to beat. I mean, that's just the way it is.
You
and
have
thank
to have
goodness
goals. You know?
He jumps for the USA. And as they say, on any given Sunday, anybody with desire, heart, and grit can get out there and do it. But, Carla, you really looked super yesterday. Very excited and looking forward to seeing you out here next year.
Thank you.
It'll be part of your schedule for next year.
Yes, sir.
What is your schedule? Will you be doing all of the major tournaments and events?
Yeah, this summer I spent a lot of time in New York. We did Lake Placid and some Old Salem shows, and I've had an absolute blast up in the Northeast this summer, and I plan on coming back next summer. We've had one heck of a time.
But where is home for you?
My base is currently in Wellington, Florida, and I'd like to come up here for the summers in the future.
All right, something's happening. Matt is... Okay, here we go. Here's the animation.
This is courtesy of Longines. The course starts over a vertical going towards home. It's a nice introductory striding. It's a nice 8 strides to the Hermes Oxer. And then we get to the first real difficult question of the course. This is a square Oxer with a Liverpool under it out of the in-gate turn. 4 strides to a pale green vertical. It's proven very difficult to jump all week. Then a wide 8 strides to a square wide Oxer. Now we come to our first combination in the course. This is Oxer vertical vertical, the Longines triple. It's a tight one to an even tighter one, and then a steady 5 strides to a square Oxer. Again, the course designer trying to get the horses to hit that front rail. Now here for me, this is the toughest part of the whole course. This is a 1.60 m vertical with a Liverpool behind it, 5 3/4 strides to a vertical Oxer in and out. That Oxer coming out is very large, and then it's 7 or 8 strides to the tall Jaguar gate. This jump, as you can see coming around the double Liverpools, is a blind arrival at a 1.58 m vertical, a nice 9 strides to a 1.58 m square, 1.20 m wide Oxer, and a simple 6 strides home. That's our widest jump on course.
Wow. So what do you think?
I'd say that's a whole lot of course to handle.
That's a whole lot of course.
I think Peter did a phenomenal job giving us the rundown of what to expect, and I think we're going to have a great day of show jumping.
And the beautiful thing is, beautiful as this course looks, it's sort of like a rose garden. You start weaving your way into it. There's a lot of thorns you run into, but there's a lot of subtle, difficult riding questions out there. The jump design, the location of the jumps. You have to really be in top form to jump a clear round today.
And in speaking to your fellow riders, are they pumped up for this event?
Every rider that I saw out there walking the course had their game face on. They were in their zone. If you spoke to them, you were piercing their bubble. I mean, yeah. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, because when you get to this level of sport, which today is about as big as it gets and as tough as it gets, the riders get in a zone, they get their horses ready, and off they go.
Let's give our attention to the Grand Prix ring. Let's see what's happening there. It seems to be part of the presentation today.
Yes, we've got Olympic course designer from the U.S., Steve Stevens, and his wife, Debbie Stevens. They're introducing to this wonderful crowd that came out to watch the Hampton Classic today to what the course is. They're talking about how the turn to number 3. So Debbie, an experienced winning Grand Prix rider, we see her riding still today, not so much at the international level. And her husband, Steve, who we all know of late as one of the best course designers in the world, is actually one of the top U.S. show jumpers going back into the 60s and 70s.
Well, let's tune in on Debbie, who's worked with us here on our broadcast.
This is a double combination to the anthems, which is 1 stride, meaning the horse jumps in, takes a stride, and jumps out. Now I'm going to go after a very funny jump. This is a gate, the Jaguar jump. The top bar is not connected to the whole gate, so if the horse's foot just touches that, it definitely is going to knock down and be a 4 false.
The riders were saying that it walks a 7 strides, it measures a 7 strides, but I think some of the...
So we're watching Steve and Debbie Stevens share with the wonderful crowd we have here today about the course, what goes on underneath the surface, how do the stridings, the distances between these massive obstacles, these very beautiful jumps. So Steve, one of the best in the world at designing Grand Prix courses, He also was the top rider.
But it does walk and measure second.
So there we go. He's talking about what the riders' options are. Whereas once upon a time, the distance, the stridings between the obstacles were pretty cut and dry. Everybody did the same stridings. Now, each horse-rider combination has to decide what's best for their horse. Some of the bigger strided horses will leave a stride out and do what we call the simple striding. Some of the smaller, more catty horses need to add up and do one more. Beautiful shot of our arena here today. I just love Grand Prix Sunday. We've got a nice breeze, a little bit overcast. Looks like the weather's going to work with us. It's a little bit on the cooler side, which is perfect for jumping. Now, Carly, talk to us a little bit about, your journey to the Hampton Classic. At what point earlier this year or last year did you know that you wanted to come to the Hampton Classic, and what did you do with your horse and your riding to be ready to come and have that wonderful fourth place finish yesterday?
Peter, I've been wanting to come to the Hampton Classic for many, many years. It's always been a goal of mine. So I would say in the back of my head, since I was a junior, I've been trying to find ways and smaller goals to build up to coming this week. As preparation for this show, I went to Lake Placid, knowing that it originally...
Right. Normally, we're on grass here, so Lake Placid is a perfect prep. That's correct.
As a good building block to set myself up for success here. And then the weeks leading up, I also went to Vermont, which was on arena footing.
Right.
So I felt my horses were well equipped to compete successfully on both, and making sure that they were fit and ready to go is what got me here this week.
Well, you did a wonderful preparation because your horses performed beautifully. You got multiple ribbons. And in your target class, your big Grand Prix, you went without fault and got a beautiful, beautiful ribbon. It was a magnificent performance.
Thank you
now,
so much.
One of the things for those of you listening to us today, the key thing that Carly said is that ever since she was a little girl, she wanted to come to the Hampton Classic and compete and win a ribbon, ideally even win, at the Hampton Classic. But what you don't know is Carly's from Seattle, Washington. So it's pretty special that for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, the Hampton Classic is the place to come and compete. And if it's your day, if it's your week, to win and maybe even get a ribbon.
Yeah, I think it's a dream and a goal for many. I feel very honored and fortunate to be here, and can feel the excitement in the air today on this beautiful Grand Prix Sunday, just as I'm sure you're feeling.
Oh yeah, no, this is great. There's nothing like it. Now, we've had other competitions going on all week. We've had children's and adult jumper. We've had amateur and junior jumper. We've had hunters. There's a big hunter derby that just finished a couple hours ago that took place in Hunter 1, a beautiful grass arena. We also had equitation classes, and the highlight of the equitation division here was yesterday in the main arena. There was an equitation championship won by young Luke Jensen, one of our top up-and-coming junior riders. But speaking of young up-and-coming riders, let's take a look at the list for today. As you glance through it, tell me about some of the riders. Let's start at the beginning. Just glance down the list. Tell me a rider that catches your attention. Be they a veteran, be they an up-and-coming youngster.
I'd say first and foremost is number 5, Lucy Delorier on Hester. I think that is one of the most fantastic pairs I'd say you're going to see today. A lot of history behind this partnership, a lot of wins, and yes. I would say this is a magnificent up-and-coming young professional, and
you're absolutely right. And just to put on some of her resume, she was second in the Hampton Classic Grand Prix 2 years ago, the last time this Sunday event was held, to her father Mario. She also, Lucy, with Hester, won the Friday qualifier. I mean, you're spot on, and she's going to go on and jump for the U.S. team in Aachen in just a couple of weeks. So Lucy Delorier and Hester, absolutely one to look for. continue down. What rider jumps out at you next?
I think Maria Costa as well on presence. They've also been selected to compete on a few Nations Cups later this year over in Europe. She had a spectacular Wellington season with multiple placings in a few of the 5 4-star Grand Prix. And I think there's a lot
And this
to
is
see.
a big stage for Maria. This is a big deal. So this is an excellent prep. How she does today will give Chef to Keep Robert Ridlin a little bit of confidence in his young rider Maria Costa for Nations Cup competition.
Exactly. And then this name that just keeps showing up everywhere. The winner of the class yesterday, Mr. Alex Matz. This man is a very hard person to beat, very fast. Won both of the Grand Prix in Lake Placid this year. Could not beat him. I tried very hard. And he seems to be on a roll this summer.
He really is. He's won 3 major Grand Prix in the last 2 months. The first 3 major Grand Prix wins of his career, the son of multiple Olympic rider Michael Matz, Hall of Famer Michael Matz, and USET rider Didi Matz. So, Alex, I think you're spot on. This is one to watch. He's riding a fast, careful horse by the name of Cashew. So far you've picked all Americans. We've skipped over some pretty exciting international riders.
I might be a little biased.
But on we go, on we go.
I'd say after Alex Matz, I said the rest of the class. This is also in reverse order of the
Friday qualifier.
The Friday
That's
qualifier.
right.
So you'll see the winner of Friday's qualifier going last, giving him the best advantage, especially if he jumps clear today. He will go last in the jump off.
That's right.
And you have it's very heavily stacked towards the end. You
Correct.
have Skylar
The
Riley
riders-
and Rodrigo Pessoa and Daniel Bloom and Adrian Sternlicht, and of course McLean Ward, and as you mentioned earlier, Lucy's father Mario. I would say the end of the class is very, very
Right,
well
but
stacked.
first we have to. It's not a horse, but a lot of horsepower. It's
Our sponsor today
yeah.
for the big Grand Prix, Range Rover, Land Rover.
I went in Vermont doing their off-road experience. That was probably one of the most fun experiences I've ever had.
Oh my goodness!
Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty
Pretty
exciting.
cool.
I think seeing me behind behind the wheel on that thing was a little terrifying for my friends, but I had a lot of
Excellent.
fun nonetheless.
Peter, you were talking about our grandstands and how wonderful it is to see
It's
people again.
fantastic to see a crowd back here at the Hampton Classic. The bleachers are 7/8 full and getting fuller. The VIP tent, both the long side and the short side by the in gate, brimming with people, all socially distanced, of course. And that kind of buzz adds an atmosphere and an energy so that when the horses come in the ring, they feel it. And there's a certain percentage of horses, when they feel that energy, they grow and they jump even better. And then there's another percentage of horses that come in the ring and they shrink and they get stage fright. So it's all very, very exciting to have the energy, the mojo back at the Hampton Classic Stadium.
Wonderful to see again after a year's absence. And Carly, how did you continue your sport during the COVID year?
I would say most of the professionals became very good at training.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were able to continue riding through COVID when most people weren't able to.
That's right.
To do such, we were
because of the live animal and the care of it. We were agricultural, and it was an essential activity to be able to take care of the horses. So now we head to Center Ring, and we're getting ready for Alan Keeley. We're also going to have our national anthem, which will be followed by Alan Keeley. So we'll see. We've got a nice breeze, a beautiful American flag blowing gently in the breeze at Center Ring.
And a little bit of sunshine.
Just enough. So our crowd prepares. Our announcer, Peter Doubleday, doing his wonderful job as always. as we're about to kick off the $300,000 Hampton Classic 4-star Grand Prix presented by Land Rover.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was magnificent.
That was
Mr.
powerful and beautiful. So great to hear our national anthem during
And I'm
these
told Mr.
challenging
Brennan
times.
is a professional opera singer, tenor, and he really shows it. Here we go.
And it shows. Our call is being sounded by Alan Keeley, our ringmaster in the center, and our first rider has already cantered into the ring. This is going to be Jessica Leto on her horse Simbuba. Jessica is a newcomer to the international ranks. Now remember, our riders are going in reverse order of finish from our qualifier. Jessica going first, while she had a good qualifier, did finish at the end of our rankings. So the course will be most challenging for those in the beginning. And as we go on, our more seasoned veterans that are in form will be rounding out the first round.
So, Peter, if I might ask, what do you think will be the, as they call it, the boogie jump for this class today?
I think the line, the reverse Liverpool, a half-strided line to a very difficult in and out. And let's go around this course. Jessica Leto on Simbuba. First jump is down. Good over number 2. Now, to me, this is the first really hard question in the course. This is a square oxer with a Liverpool underneath it out of the in-gate turn. Jessica got it done. 4 strides to the Lady Liberty vertical. That's been very difficult for the horses all week. Now she comes to the triple combination. This is oxer, vertical, vertical. This is a more careful combination as opposed to Scopy. B is down, C is down. And I think that, Jessica would be very happy just to have a solid, timer to timer experience. This is some big jumping. It's a very steady 6. That's a big jump coming out. 1.52 oxer, 1.55 wide. This is a 1.60 plank on flat cups. The Jaguar gate.
Time allowed here being 77 seconds.
Exactly.
So we'll see. We'll watch her time allowed to make sure she's within.
That's a 1.58, 1.20 wide oxer. 6 strides home, and she's just over the time. So our first rider, showing us just how difficult this course is. She has 4 poles down for a total of 16 penalties, plus just a fraction over that time allowed. So a total of 17 faults for Jessica Lito and Simbora. Now, as a rider that's about to go, what's your takeaway from our first rider?
I would say it's not a course to take lightly today, as you've predicted. And I think she was efficient with the time, but I definitely think the time is not something to be forgotten or taken for granted.
That's my big takeaway as well. She showed us that the lines, ride the way we think they're going to ride, and that the time allowed is not so terrible that it's going to force a lot of rails. The riders can take that extra moment to meet the jumps just the way they want. Next in the ring is Gavin Harley on Very Chic de Toulard. Gavin having a very good week. Very stylish rider. As we see, does the 8 strides. Some of the horses are going to take exception to the Liverpool here. Oh, he got very long. And the Lady Liberty is down. That's 2 down, fences 3 and 4. It's going to be a long rest of the way around for Gavin.
You weren't kidding about that line, Peter.
Well, I think that the idea of that line got to Gavin because he really didn't meet fence 3, that Liverpool Oxer, the way he wanted. He grabbed at his distance, as we say, meaning as he came out of the in-gate turn, he just took the first thing he saw, and that led to the problem at fence 3. Got down to 6 a little early, but jumped through very nicely. 8 strides. That's a very, very tall gate. It may not look it, but it's over 1.60 meters tall. The New York Apple Vertical. 9 strides to the big Oxer.
Well done.
Let's see how the 6 rides home.
And within the time.
Just under that time. He really pulled it together quite nicely after having fenced 3 and 4 down. He had a lot of course to go and demonstrated some real maturity and composure to bring home an 8-fault round. So, our best so far is 8 faults, Gavin Harley. Out of our 2 riders, we've seen both have been under the time allowed. And now we go to one of the winningest riders in American history. This is Aaron Vale on his self-owned Elusive. He and his wife own this horse. Aaron, a real winner. He's won, if it's okay to say, Aaron, forgive me, over $750,000 in Grand Prix jumping competition in 2021 alone.
Wow.
I mean, this man is on a mission. He's won over 8 Grand Prix, but this week at the Hampton Classic, the pickings have been slim. He's had a pole or 2 down every single time. Maybe he's waiting
extra
for
hungry
Prix
today.
Sunday. He doesn't want. He wants to pay his way to go on to the next show. Aaron Vale and Elusive. He's been riding this horse since it was a 6-year-old, so they know each other very well.
Rode that very well.
Okay, he made it over that Lady Liberty. Stayed out in the wide 8. He's making sure he's good on the clock. Aaron, being an experienced Grand Prix rider, if he happens to have an unlucky 4, he wants to be fast. B and C are down.
Not his day.
It's not Aaron's show. He's been the winner of the Friday Grand Prix qualifier in the past. He is a veteran of this venue. Some of the riders say this new footing, while it's very safe for the horses, rides a little bit dead. And Elusive, being a little bit of a smaller horse, maybe isn't getting quite the spring off the ground that Aaron's used to feeling out of this lovely chestnut. Look at that time.
Great time. So after these first 3, Peter, I think it would be safe to say that the course designer feels pretty secure about his time allowed. Would you agree?
I think so. I don't think he's going to tighten it up. If the first 3 went clear, he might snug it up a little bit. But at this point, there's more than enough time for these riders to take the time they need to master this course with a clear round. So Aaron giving his horse a good pat. There's a nice shot of the crowd. They're really perfect conditions for jumping, not too hot. Little breeze. So would you like to introduce our next rider?
Yes, the next rider we have in the ring now is Ailish Cunniffe. She is riding Vivaldi du Teal,
Yes.
a 12-year-old Salle Francais gelding. I saw him earlier in the week. He is quite an exceptional mover, very light on his feet, elastic off the ground, and a very modern type of horse.
And the first jump is down again. 2 of our first 4 horses have had the first jump down, and that's a bit of a surprise. You know, it's not terribly big. They say the first jump is the ground man's responsibility in the schooling area, and the last jump is the rider's responsibility in the schooling, in the ring.
I like that saying.
But Ailish, one of the young up-and-coming riders for the U.S., a member of a very talented riding family, the Cunniffe family. Her mom and dad, Frank and Bunny Cunniffe, wonderful trainers and horsemen. Ailish gets her master's degree. That's a big vertical. That's a 1.60 m vertical, really dug up into the turn, very difficult. For me, that's the hardest line on the course. She had all 3 down.
Good recovery at the gate.
She's got 16 faults as she approaches our last 3 jumps. The New York Apple vertical that stands at 1.58 m. Tall, skinny oxer. Good on the clock.
Yep.
So that's a 16 fault round. She'll go into 3rd place at this time. We've seen 4 riders, and currently leading is Aaron Vale with 8 penalties in a time of 73.11 seconds. Now we have to remember that the order of our riders today is seeded in reverse order of who did the best in Friday's qualifier. Now next in the ring, Carly is a rider we spoke about before the class started, young U.S. rider Lucy Delorier. Tell us a little bit about Lucy and what you expect to see.
I'd say this is one of my favorite partnerships, these two. A lot of history together, a lot of wins. I thought their qualifying round on Friday was a superb warm-up for today. So I have a lot of excitement, ready to watch these two compete today and watch the magic happen. It's quite a fun pairing to watch.
These are a great combination. They won in the junior jumpers and young riders together. They've gone on to represent the U.S. team, a lot like Buddy Brown and Sansa for those of us that have been around a while. Lucy Delorier, winner of the Grand Prix qualifier 2 years ago, second in the big Grand Prix 2 years ago to her father. Let's see how she does.
She rode that beautifully. I think the key through that turn is keeping the rhythm through the turn, even when it's asking away from the in-gate to maybe have the horses naturally slow down.
This is a big, scopy horse, very light off the ground. You can see he's got a little bit of a hard mouth. And Lucy does a super job managing this horse's slightly numb mouth. Not even a rub so far. This is a 1.60 m vertical with a Liverpool behind it. She has to fit in a very steady 6 strides to a scopy combination. Oh, the front rail is down.
I thought she rode into that pretty well, Peter.
Yeah, she really did. Hester just being maybe just a tad aggressive. On one hand, you want your horse to be taking you, but at the same time, you want them to back off those jumps. She's very good on the clock. If she can leave this up, she'll go into the lead.
Oh, that was too bad. I thought she rode that challenging course very well.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot she could do differently. You know, when you enter a combination just right, the horse has to really do their job at B as well as at C. But at the moment, she's our early leader with a very fast 4-fault round. That's 1 rail down. Lucy Delorier and Hester. As they say, that's show jumping. Sometimes you have a rub and it stays up and you bring home the clear, and sometimes that same rub brings down the rail. Now, she's a competitive young lady. She knows her horse jumped well and she rode well. She wanted to be clear.
I agree. Next up, we have Maria Costa on her horse, Presence. A lot of good results with this pairing as well. I spoke to her earlier, and she is very excited to be jumping today. She's had great success with this gelding earlier this year, and he's been jumping spectacular this week as well.
And you shared with all of us something at least I didn't know, and that she's going to be riding for the U.S. team at some point over the next few months.
That is always an honor and a privilege to be a part of.
I thought she did a really nice job to give her horse room in the wide 8 strides to that difficult oxer. Here comes the triple. We've seen trouble here so far today. Back rail is down. B.
Just looked like she lost a little bit of his concentration around that turn.
Around the turn, the horse started falling to the left, and she lost that connection arriving at A. So while the jump crew is rebuilding that combination, she'll have to jump the whole thing again. So there's the bell. The combination is reset.
Looks like she's just going to go and jump over number 1. Build some confidence, and on a good note.
That's too bad for young Maria Costa and her lovely jumper, Presence. So she's retiring. And then do you happen to know what event she'll be jumping for the team at?
I believe it's the one in Portugal.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
Wonderful. Beautiful
That was supposed to
venue.
happen earlier this year, but I think due to COVID they've had to push it back, and it's going to be maybe late October, early November.
Perfect. So we're moving on to Stephen Blumen. Stephen was with us yesterday.
Yes.
His brother Daniel was in the 2-horse jump-off. His brother Daniel has won the Grand Prix here, the Sunday Grand Prix, the Friday Grand Prix.
And we'll see him later this afternoon.
And we're hoping to see Stephen bring home the first clear of the day. His horse jumping very well. Gets the lead change.
A little wide there, so I think he's going to have to keep that time allowed in mind.
So far, so good. He's over Lady Liberty. Still clear. Now this is where Maria Costa had some problems, as well as Jessica Lito and Aaron Vale. The triple really taking its toll, both in the Friday qualifier and in today's big Grand Prix. The triple is early in the course. 1.60 reverse Liverpool. He's got to fit in that 6 strides. This is a very scopy horse. He's still clear. He's only got 4 jumps to go. Like his brother, Stephen is a fighter. He's hungry. Oh, it's a rub and it stayed up.
Still got to think about the time. He's got 10 seconds left to complete the course.
He's going to be okay on the clock. And
he does it.
He's in it. He's in it.
There we go. Our first clear.
Stephen Blumen, and I think he's more excited than we are.
Yeah, he's happy about that.
Yeah, give that to
Definitely
older
earned
brother
that
Daniel.
today. Definitely
That's
earned
it.
that clear today.
That's it.
You know, I mean, it's one thing just to jump a clear round over this very difficult course, and then you realize, oh my goodness, the purse is $300,000. Somebody's going to win some money. There's brother Daniel giving him a high five as he comes out of the in gate. Daniel goes 4th from the end with his Olympic mount Gemma W. So we have our first clear. Stephen Blumen from Israel. And now in the arena from the USA is U.S. team veteran, beautiful, stylish rider, veteran winner Brian Goutal Marteau, and Viva Colombia. Brian had an unlucky pole down in the Friday qualifier. Her horse jumped beautifully. one of the things that, even if you don't watch show jumping a lot, you watch this horse rider combination and you see smoothness, you see artwork, you see feeling. And that's really Brian's calling card. Usually that equals a great performance. Horses like smooth and patient.
I really admire her riding style. It is very classic American style of riding.
She rides with the motion, a light seat. Watch her hands, they're very still.
Yep. Patient upper body in the air.
She won every equitation championship there was to win when she was a junior. Beautiful ride at A, beautiful at B.
Beautifully well ridden.
She's excelled in the Sunday Hampton Classic Grand Prix before. Now let's see what she does to get this horse's front end over this 1.60 m reverse Liverpool. Oh, it's good.
Fitting in the 6.
Mm-hmm. Big scope.
Trusting the scope there.
And what that means when we say trusting the scope, Brianne's not pushing for the back rail. She's letting her talented horse. Oh, it's down. Oh. She's good on the clock, not that fast, but well under the time allowed.
That's too bad.
So that's a 4-fault round. She's going to go into third place at this point behind Lucy Delorier and Hester. That's really, really too bad. But what a beautiful ride by Brianne Goutal-Marteau with Viva Columbia. She's very pleased with her horse, but again, as beautiful as she rides, she does like to win. I mean, she wants to go clear. You don't get to be this far in the sport and jump for the U.S. team being satisfied with a 4-fault round.
Okay. Next up, we have David Blake from Ireland. He had as well one down in the qualifier on Friday on his horse Kyoki. Let's see if he can eliminate that rail today and give us our second clear round.
Yep. David Blake, a veteran combination with this horse Kyoki, has been clear in some of the biggest classes in North America. His father, chef d'équipe for Ireland. David is no stranger to big jumping on the big day. You'll notice David is a very tall young man, which is something that he uses to his advantage. And because he's tall, he has to stay very still. Oh, it's down. What a late rail. I mean, he was already a stride away from that jump when it came down. So when you have an early rail like that at fence 4, it gives you the opportunity to be the fastest 4-faulter. It is quite likely. Another pole, 2 down.
That triple combination is posing to be more difficult than we anticipated.
Yes. It comes early in the course. It's a very careful combination. Doesn't require a ton of scope, but it does require carefulness. Kyoki really looking a little what we call dull today. He's got 3 down with 3 jumps to go. Where the New York Apple jump took a beautiful clear away from Brianne Goutal, our previous rider. And here comes David to the finish line.
Also good for time.
Under the time allowed, 3 down, so a total of 12 faults. He's going to go into 6th place at this point after we've seen 9 competitors in the first round of the $300,000 Hampton Classic Grand Prix presented by Land Rover. There's David Blake heading out of the arena. He'll be back. We'll see him jumping clear rounds in the not-too-distant future. Now we have a look at Paul O'Shea showing his horse the triple. This is his Olympic mount, Machu Picchu. Paul O'Shea representing Ireland. He has 2 students in this class. One was Eilish Cuniff and the other Maria Costa. So now the professor gets a chance to go out there and give it a go.
There's definitely an advantage to going later in the class, especially when it's of this caliber. You get to see how it rides, where the problems are on course.
Exactly. So there's nothing Paul doesn't know about this course. He just has to go out there and do it and hope he has a little bit of luck. Does the 8 strides. Paul, a real technician, a very experienced rider for Ireland. He's ridden on many Nations Cup teams. Did a super job getting his horse over the Lady Liberty vertical.
And that 8 was beautifully ridden.
Here we come to the real bogey, the most difficult part of the course so far today. It's over A, over B. He's done it. Steady 5 strides. And now the next really hard part of the course, 1.60 vertical, away from home. He's got to fit in the 6 strides. Okay,
Well
he's
ridden.
just 4 jumps from home. He's good on the clock. You'd expect a veteran like Paul O'Shea to bring it home.
Can't take this New York jump for granted.
A little rub, but it stays up. Does the ad. 6 strides to the last.
And
He's in.
that makes a jump off for us.
So we have Israel represented.
And Ireland.
And
In
Ireland.
Ireland, we need the United States in this
We
group.
most certainly do.
We've got some good ones coming. I'm confident.
Oh,
At least one of us is. All right, so our second clear round is produced by Paul O'Shea and the wonderful Machu Picchu. He knows he's looking forward to the jump off already. Next from Great Britain, Matthew Bodie and Balotelli.
5.
Balotelli 5. Here we go. I missed 1, 2, 3, and 4, but now we have number 5. Again, Matthew, like David Blake, a tall rider, rides for the Georgina Bloomberg Gotham stables. He rides beautifully, and because he has length in leg and limb, he needs to ride very still. A tall rider like that, if they make a big move, can really distract a horse when they're trying to jump a clear jump. So far, so good. Let's see how Matthew handles the triple combination. That's a good view. Ridden like a veteran. Still clear. This is a very difficult line coming up. Has to stay way back of the saddle. Beautifully ridden. 6 strides. Come on out.
There you go.
Once you're through that double, it's just 4 big jumps between you and a clear round.
I'd say it's more endurance at that point.
And as you come around those double Liverpools, that New York apple jump comes off of a blind turn. The horses don't get a chance to see it.
Should be within the time. And
There
we have
it
our
is.
3rd clear round. This is making to be a good jump off.
Great Britain. Now is our last rider before our ground maintenance work. The jump crew's coming in. They're going to remove the rails, and the drag is coming in. A nice shot from one of our VIP chalets.
now isn't that something? We've got Great Britain, Ireland, and Israel.
An international field, an international jump off, but there's a couple countries missing that we want to see.
I'd like
Called
to see
North
if it-
America,
Yeah.
USA,
That's true.
Mexico,
Mexico,
Canada.
you're
Brazil,
right.
So-
yeah.
We've got a number of entrants. What? Is it because this field now is more of an international type course? Does it favor the European riders? No? Yes?
I think it's a fairly even playing field out there today. And you have some very good Americans coming up, so I wouldn't worry too much about filling those spots that we're missing. But I think the second half is going to make for a more exciting jump off.
I think,
Yeah.
for sure, you've got so many good horses and riders throughout the world, including North America. That means the U.S., Mexico, Canada. I think what we're seeing is more a function of what horse rider combinations are in form and they were in reverse order from Friday's qualifier. So I think that's the bigger deal. Now, maybe a great time for a word from our sponsors.
Well, let's do that. While I worry here for the American representation.
All right. Well, you picked Israel yesterday in the jump off. I'm the only one that was rooting for young Alex Matz in the USA, and
That's
I guess
good.
I called it.
And he's scheduled to join us in a little
Yeah,
bit.
he comes up. He's about number 5 after the drag, and we'll see him and McLean Ward, Georgina Bloomberg, Mario Delorier, Adrian Sternlick,
Skylar Riley.
and Skylar Riley, and Friday's winner Nikki Galligan on the wonderful Irish sport horse mare Miss Jordan.
It's Grand Prix Sunday, and it's our pleasure to bring this broadcast to you. Should we do a little recap for our viewers?
Absolutely. The first half of round 1 is now over. We have 3 clear rounds. We have Israel's Stephen Blumen, brother of Daniel Blumen, who we're going to see a little later. Then we have Paul O'Shea on Machu Picchu for Ireland, and then Matthew Bodie from Great Britain. We have an international jump off. We've got 11 riders to go, and the best are yet to come. Carly, how are you feeling about this course?
I'd say after the first half, I'd say we've got some good competitors coming up to add to our list of clear rounds. I think the triple combination is posing more of a complication than we first anticipated.
Yes, I agree.
But I think now that the second half of riders have had the first 11 to watch, I think they're going to come in now knowing what they need to do to get it done.
They know where the difficult spots are. Now keep in mind that this is the reverse order of finish of the Grand Prix qualifier. So the horse rider combinations that are in the best form are yet to come. The rider in the best form goes last today, and we're going to watch Olympic veterans and the best in the sport yet to come.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting jump off, even when we don't know who else is going to be added to it. But
I mean, we can have a
pretty
little
excited.
fun with it while we're waiting for our horse. We have 3 clears so far. We've got roughly 11 or 12 yet to go. Let's take a guess. How many clear do you think by the end of the first round?
I'm pretty set on 7, but as I've told you before, I'm usually wrong. So
Well, I don't know. You got a good feel for it. I'm going to go with 8. Ernie? 6 clear. Okay,
I
so
don't
you're
think
thinking
it's
3 out of the
not
last
gonna be
12. And
I've got my eye on Georgina Bloomberg.
Georgina
I think
Bloomberg's
she's
going to be
been
our
doing
first
very
rider.
well this week. She was 3rd yesterday.
Yeah,
And
she
I
had a
just
beautiful
feel
ride.
that
Beautiful.
Well, I might be wrong. We'll know. She's the first.
And here
first
she
rider
comes.
in.
Here she comes. We'll get a shot at the arena. Georgina Bloomberg's trotting into the ring. This is her horse, Tulara Coalmine.
A great person who gives so much of her time and effort and support to helping people and great human being. So I'm rooting for her.
Georgina's a beautiful and stylish rider. She's ridden for the U.S. team on many occasions. She's also won on the biggest stages in the world. No stranger to pressure.
And I'd say this 11-year-old stallion has such a spectacular form and way of going. He's definitely one of my favorites of hers that she rides.
Great canter, that nice uphill balance. So Georgina's watched. She knows where the bogeys are. Fence 1 has come down on 2 occasions already in the first half of the class. The time allowed has not been a factor so far, but the moment you take it for granted, it bites you. Nice and neat to number 3. This is a square oxer with a Liverpool under it. This horse really has a massive stride. There are a lot of steady lines out here, and with a big horse like that, these lines just eat up the clock. Good at A, good at B, good at
Beautifully
C.
ridden. Thinking about the time there, galloping away after that Lugano Oxer.
Oh, she really had to make him wait at that jump so she could fit in the 6 strides. Come on, the front rail. Just like the Scopy horse of Lucy Delorier's Hester, that front rail of B came down. She's got to leave the remainder up because a 4-fault round. Little rub, but it stays up. could get her in the money. What a massive stride this stallion has. That 6 was crawling.
And within the time.
Here she goes. So 4 faults, just under the 77-second time allowed. And she's going to go into 6th place at this point. Beautifully ridden round. I really think Georgina did everything she could to ride that combination correctly. She just needed her horse to be just a little more clever for that front rail.
I agree. Next in we have Gerardo Pascal from Mexico on his mount El Conde, a 10-year-old gelding.
This little horse has been wonderful all week. Went with 1 time fault in the qualifier on Friday. Went in our first FEI class on Thursday. Geraldo only jumped part of the course, but again, rubless, beautiful, saving his horse for the big day. Now you'll notice Geraldo, this is a smaller, bloody horse, and he rides it right in his hand, and he tends to do the ad on this horse. Let's see what he does.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to have Geraldo join this group?
I'd love to have
We've
Mexico
got a lot of
jump
different
off.
flags
He
in
did
this.
9 strides to number 2.
Yep.
And that is honestly an easy 8. The 4. That 4 actually got a little flat for him, and he had that down. What a lovely horse. Good at A, good at B.
He managed his horse very well for that triple combination.
He's doing it. That was a unfortunate rail at Lady Liberty. Let's see how he handles this big Liverpool, 1.60 meters.
Nice rub there, hopefully to set up for the combination. Too bad. Just looked a little eager going into that combination.
Yeah. Geraldo seems, a little busy in the saddle. And when the busier the rider is with their hands and their signals, it tends to distract the horse from the jump that's in front of him. Oh, he does a circle. He didn't like the way he was arriving that jump. He knew that, he wasn't going to go clear, so I think he took the better part of discretion and did a circle. That's a 1.58 meter square, 1.20 meter wide oxer. Right, so Mexico will not be in the jump off today. That's a total of 17 faults, 16 jumping, and 1 time penalty. But great experience for Geraldo and his lovely, bloody little horse. I really like that horse.
It's a very cute horse.
I bet it's fast if you give it a chance to be.
Circling as well counts for 4 penalties. So that's added to his 17 fault score.
Next in the arena is Ireland's Jonathan Corrigan on Super Chilled, owned by Deborah Wyckoff from Pennsylvania. Jonathan was clear with his other mount Indigo in the Friday qualifier, and he's been saving Super Chilled for the Sunday Grand Prix. He's had a lot of success with this horse this year. Winner of several. Oh my goodness!
This first jump, it's catching everybody off guard. Do you think it's on the angle that it's set on?
Well, it's almost it is small enough the horses don't look at it. It is near the VIP, so as the horses are making their approach to it, they're hearing the buzz of the VIP crowd. Perhaps that's distracting the horses a little bit, but I'm really quite surprised that fence one's come down so much.
Very, very well righted into that triple.
Yeah. A veteran rider like Jonathan knows when you have fence one down, you have the opportunity to be the fastest for a faulter. It's worth the risk, even if he has another pull down. But to be the fastest,
you usually end up in the money.
Yeah, he's going to get a good prize.
Well ridden through that combination as well.
Just 2 years ago, Jonathan was clear in this very class on his horse Indigo with 1 time fault. He's at 60 seconds. Very well ridden. That's a tough jump. The horses really want to cut jumping that jump set in the corner. 3, 4, 5, 6 strides, and pretty good on the clock. That's going to go into 5th place.
Second fastest 4, just behind Lucy Delorier on Hester.
Very, very good with about 10 horses to go. Actually, 9 horses to go. He's in 5th place with a little bit of luck. He's gonna walk away with some prize money for Deborah Wyckoff. The first jump down. Oh, that's a...
Not how you want to start, but I thought he finished up very well.
And that's the sign of a veteran show jumping rider. You know, when you have that first jump down, you still deliver a clear the rest of the way. Next
a West Coaster.
And a West Coaster. Tell us about Alessandra Volpe.
So she's on her mount Berlinda. She had a clear round as well on Friday. Now we're starting to see all the clear rounds from Friday's Grand Prix qualifier. She's been out east this whole summer. She's had quite a bit of success. This is a great pair, her and Berlinda. And so far off to a good start over that difficult fence number 1.
And the horses really like this young lady. They try hard for her. She works with a nice rhythm. She's training under the tutelage of show jumping coach Max Amaya. She really technically rode the first 5 jumps beautifully. Now the triple combination has claimed a lot of victims so far today.
Keep a little leg there.
Oh, still clear. Have to come in slow and tall to this 1.60 vertical. Reverse Liverpool. Fit in the 6 strides.
Patient.
Come on. Oh! The back rail gets her.
Let's see if she can still stay on the time and be one of those faster 4 falters.
I think this is her first time jumping in the big division at the Hampton Classic. Look at the clock. That
well
was
done.
super.
That will be the fastest 4 falter for us today so far.
Fantastic. So, right into 4th place, Alessandra Volpe goes for her first 4-star Hampton Classic experience. She's going to be in the money today. She's going to get a ribbon. A happy young lady. How old would you say Alessandra is?
I believe she is in her early 20s.
I know she's a college student. She's a teammate of mine on a major league show jumping team.
Here comes our winner from yesterday's ranking class, Alex Matz, on his mount Cashew CR. This man is on fire.
An exciting young rider for the U.S.
Let's see how he fares today.
This is a very careful, very fast horse. Let's hope he has a little bit of luck. It'd be great to see him in the jump-off. So far, we do not have a U.S. rider in the jump-off. A little rub. You'll notice this horse, while he's very careful, he doesn't jump. Oh, my goodness, that's too bad.
Too bad.
It's one of the first times we've seen that jump come down today.
He's a very quick rider, though, so with 1 down, he could be ahead of Alessandra Volpe.
That's a quick type. Another pull down, just a little gappy at that jump. So not young Alex's day, but he sure enjoyed the sunshine of yesterday at a magnificent victory. He's got 3 down as he comes to the last 3 jumps. A little rub at the New York Apple vertical. And as they say, you can't win them all.
No.
A total of 12 faults for Alex Matz and Cashew CR. So we've got 7 to go, and all remaining 7 riders are tremendous, tremendous international veterans that have won all over the world.
Let's see if they can be added to the list of 3 we currently have for the jump-off.
There we go. Mario Delorier will be our next rider. representing Canada on the Aram Apagumian-owned Eurus de la Roque. Mario was the winner of the last Hampton Classic Sunday Grand Prix that was held 2 years ago. This is a big scopy horse. With Mario in the irons, it can be very fast. Horse very light off the ground, jumps very easily. Mario, the youngest rider to ever win the World Cup Finals. He did that in 1984 on the Great Mount Aramis.
This horse has such a classic way of jumping, don't you think?
Oh,
light off
totally,
the ground.
totally.
The form is impeccable.
Mario will be jumping this horse in the Nations Cup for Canada at the Spruce Meadows Masters next week. This horse will be getting on a plane tomorrow to head out to Calgary. Beautifully ridden. Mario has wonderful style. Rides very instinctive. He rides with the motion. Stays out. Does the 8 strides. He's 3 jumps from home.
Should be okay on the time.
Don't cut right. Ooh, a little rub, but he left it up. You can see how Mario did a great job keeping his horse straight. The clock is getting close.
It's getting a little close.
It's getting close. Come on,
Can
Mario.
he make it?
Gallop, Mario. Gallop.
And
No.
he makes
yes,
it.
yes. Oh, I thought it was 76. Thank goodness.
We can add Canada to the list now of clears.
Canada will be represented in the jump off Mario Delorier and Eurus de la Roque. Boy,
he wanted to keep that exciting for us, didn't he?
that was beautifully ridden. And now we go from Olympic veteran Mario Delorier to 5-time Olympic veteran for the United States team, McLean Ward, on his Tokyo Olympic mount, Contagious.
What a story, huh?
What a story. What a story. Now, McLean Ward, a 7-time winner of this event. He'd love to make it 8. He rode anchor for the U.S. team on this very horse in Tokyo less than a month ago. McLean really, he always liked this horse. He's always said what a careful fighter this horse is. Oh, he sure jumped fence 1 well. Off to a good start. Go a little deep, but he's okay. He made it work. That's what the great riders do. They don't necessarily meet every jump at the perfect takeoff spot, but when they get there slightly not perfect, they make it work. They find a way to go clear. Good at A, good at B, good at C. Fits the 5 in.
How are we on time?
We're good on time. The meter 60 reverse Liverpool.
This is
Fits
not a
in the
place you want to
6.
rush.
Come on, front and back rail are clear. Stays out in the 8. He's 3 jumps from home. Kept his horse nice and straight. 7, 8, 9. He does the ad. It's still up. 1 jump to go. He's good on the clock.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's that American you were asking for.
There it
Ernie.
is.
There we go.
There it is.
Well, there's a guy who delivers. Wow.
Hampton Classic winner McLean Ward will be back. 5-time Olympian.
And look at that time of all the clear rounds.
72 seconds. He was the fastest of our clears. So we have 5 clear rounds with 5
He's so
to
good,
go.
he's predictable.
That 7 clear round predictions looking pretty good.
I'd say that was a pretty good riding lesson.
Yeah. And you can see the leading rider, Longines sash on McLean's right arm. He's got a chance to keep it.
He's happy with
I'd
that
say he has a pretty
performance.
good chance of keeping that today.
I saw a rare smile there as he.
He better be happy with that round.
So we go to McLean student and top U.S. show jumper in her own right, Adrienne Sternlich. She was a teammate of McLean's in the gold medal winning team in the 2018 World Equestrian Games. U.S. rider Adrian Sternlich on her number 1 horse, Benny's Legacy. She was clear in the Friday qualifier with this very horse.
This could be a very fast horse to join the jump off if she makes it clear today.
Yes. It's a very talented mount. She made it over that bogey, that Lady Liberty vertical. The next really tough question is this triple combination. The Longines triple. Square wide oxer coming in.
Ooh,
2
soft
careful
rub.
verticals. So far, so good.
That triple combination in the second half is not posing as much of a problem as it was in the first half.
I think the experience of the riders is the biggest reason for that. Great ride through that double. Adrian really organized her horse's balance. Just don't want to cut right over this. This is a tough jump. This has come down a lot.
Need to jump that straight, just like she did.
9 strides. 1 jump from home. It's going to be a little close on the
She's
clock.
gotta gallop. She's
Come
gotta
on.
gallop.
No.
Just over the time allowed.
Oh. What a surprise. This is such a fast horse. It's so unusual for Adrian to have a time fault, but she was being so careful.
Very beautifully ridden.
So she'll go into 6th place with that clear jumping round with 1 time penalty, 1.3 seconds over the time allowed. Yeah, you know, she's been around enough. She's pleased with her horse. She's mad at herself. The time allowed is the rider's responsibility. And now we see Stephen Daniels' brother, Daniel Blumen, on what would have been his Olympic mount, Gemma W. This horse was double clear in the Friday qualifier. This is a beautiful young up-and-coming championships horse. Jumps, through the air with such loft and ease. Get a little bit of sibling rivalry. Stephen's in the jump off. Daniel does not want Stephen to be the only Blumen in the jump off.
I think with how well this horse is jumping, Daniel definitely has to keep the time allowed in mind today.
Good at A, good at B. I mean, he rides with such feeling and timing. And again, Daniel rides with the motion like a Mario Delorier, like a Brian. Ooh!
Lucky rail. Let's see if he can keep the composure for the double.
Come on. He's got to fight a little. Ooh, he really had to work through that entire line.
He's just got 3 more.
He's got 17 seconds to finish the course. He should be okay on the clock. 6 strides. Leave it up. Come on, Daniel.
Here we go.
All right.
Now we've got some brotherly competition coming into the jump off.
Blumens will be jumping today. We're going to see Blumen 2.0 in the jump off. So
that makes it 6.
6 clear with 3 to go.
Whose number was 6 on the list? Was that yours?
Ernie.
All right, we've hit Ernie's number. Let's see if I can get to my lucky 7.
Is there a casino around here you can go to tonight?
That's right. We're placing our.
We've
but
got
these are non-financial bets. These are
right. It's just
credibility
bragging rights.
But we invite our viewers at home. Place your not bets. Follow along with us.
We've got 3
to
good
see
ones
2
to
brothers.
go.
I mean, last time I saw
love
that were the Leon brothers.
It's a lot of fun when you've got family out there jumping off against each other. So next in the ring is Artemis Farms' Lord Lucio with the most accomplished decorated rider in show jumping history. This is Rodrigo Pessoa.
I think if there's anyone who could make that 7
and
give Carly
I've
her...
got 3 more for that number 7 to happen. So
that's
I
right.
think we've got...
Remember, Carly's West Coast, we're
ones.
East Coast here. So let's see if West Coast can do it.
Rodrigo's horse, Lord Lucio, and he jumped very well in the Friday qualifier. They were double clear. Rodrigo really has been in better and better form as the summer's gone on. He was second just last Saturday night with a different horse. Come on!
Keep
Oops.
the leg.
Good riding.
Horse just
Lord
looked like
Lucio
it.
gave a little peek
Hesitation,
there,
yeah. And he was right there to support him.
Rodrigo adjusting his range for this very technical line. 1.60 reverse Liverpool, little rub.
Rub.
Come on, Rodrigo. We're all holding our breath for you. Still clear, 3 to go. I think he's okay on the clock. This has been another bogey. It's still up. 2 jumps to go. Come
With
on,
the ad.
come on. Oh, it's down.
Oh,
The ad got him.
The ad.
Oh, what a shame.
oh, what a shame.
So 4 faults in a time of 74.81 seconds. That's going to go into 11th place. He might hang in there for a ribbon depending on our last 2 riders. So 4 faults for Brazil's Rodrigo Pessoa in his first Hampton Classic Sunday Grand Prix with Lord Lucio.
Wow.
Boy, he's got to be a little disappointed with that. That was such an unfortunate rail.
He rode every stride of that horse today. He earned that clear round. That was very unlucky. All right, 2 left.
2 left.
Okay.
Our
Your
second place.
8 clears are starting to get a little slim
my
there,
prediction
Peter.
was 8. Both of these riders need to go clear. It could happen.
It could. You have
I
2
would-
very good riders and good horses to go with it.
Skylar Riley with her wonderful horse Robin, very scopy, very careful. She's been in good form. She was second in the Friday qualifier with this very horse, hence going second to last right now. As the 8 strides. So far, so good. Robin really jumping up and around the jumps. Still clear. She stays nice and wide in the 8 strides here.
Easy.
Come on. I think this is the best string of horses that Skylar's had perhaps ever in her career. Come on. Oh, got to fit in the 5. This horse has a huge stride and a huge jump.
I think that scope will help her in that combination coming up
Right.
next.
Right, she's got it. The front rail is going to
Yeah.
be the problem, not the back rail.
Well ridden.
So good. She left the stride out to the gate. That was very important for time. Come on,
Jump
Skylar.
this straight.
Come on. Oh, a
Ooh,
little
look.
rub. That could bring her home.
Add in the 9.
Now, the 9 is the striding.
Here we go.
Come on.
Here we go.
And she's under.
Another American.
U.S. rider, Skylar Riley.
Makes it 7.
And now there are 7.
And you're in the money there. Carly, you're in the money. But
While I would love to win this bet, I would also be very happy to see our last rider go clear.
Nikki Galligan, they don't get faster and more fun to watch than Nikki Galligan from Ireland on Jarvis Miss Jordan. He won the qualifier on Friday. He's last to go in the first round of our $300,000 Hampton Classic Grand Prix. This Grand Prix is presented by Land Rover. There we get a shot at the Irish Sport Horse mare. This is just an exciting mare to watch. She's not that big, but she's the little engine that could. I'm not sure who tries harder, Nikki or this wonderful little chestnut mare. Now, I haven't seen Nikki ride in this last position to go pressure situation that often. This will be a nice test for this young man. His parents are here to watch. Oh, shifted right, and it's down. That's too bad. So we will have 7 advancing to the jump off. Another is down.
Oh.
It looks, oh my goodness, it looks like this real trier of a mare is just struggling a little bit. Maybe the footing is just a little
he's-
laboring a little bit, a
Yep,
little hard
and
for her to
electing to
jump
retire
out
just to give
Just
the mare.
motioned. He doesn't want to chance it.
Yep.
Well,
Nikki.
who won our contest?
I believe that was me.
Okay, okay.
Gentlemen. Feels good. Feels good
Lady
to win.
Luck.
Yeah.
Maybe
we-
you
should
should be
we-
going to the casino tonight.
Should we carry this over to the jump off?
Well, we have 7 going forward to the jump off. We're going to have a little break. So while they prepare the footing, why don't we hear
Let's
a
do
word
little,
from our
let's have
sponsors?
a little
and
recap, just so that
Okay. Well, there we have we'll get a little look at our 7 clear rounds. We have an international jump off.
in our leaderboard here.
Israel's Stephen Blumen will be leading us off. Ireland's Paul O'Shea going second. Great Britain's Matthew Bodie going third. Canada's Mario Delorier. He was the winner of our last Hampton Classic Grand Prix. 7-time winner McLean Ward on his Olympic Mount Contagious going fifth. Daniel Blumen from Israel going sixth. He also is a previous winner of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. And going last, Skylar Riley for the USA in the number 7
So
spot.
we have 2 representing the United States,
Yep. And
2
two.
brothers representing Israel. That's pretty cool.
And then a single from Ireland, Great Britain, and Canada.
All
But
right.
USA will be going 5th and 7th. And no matter what they say, it helps to go late in the order when it comes to the jump off.
Grand Prix Sunday. We made it, Peter.
We sure did. We got a great crowd, great show jumping. The course designed by Alan Wade has been very challenging. 7 are going forward to the time jump off. We've got Olympic veterans in the jump off. Every single rider is one to watch. So let's just recap our riders going into the jump off. We have 2 riders from Israel, the Blumen brothers. Leading off, number 1 is Stephen Blumen, then followed by Ireland's Paul O'Shea. He'll be second to go out of 7. Great Britain's Matthew Bodie, Canada's Mario Delorier. He won the last time we had a Sunday Grand Prix here at the Hampton Classic. That was 2 years ago. Then followed by 5-time Olympian, 7-time Hampton Classic winner, McLean Ward for the USA, going back number 5. Then Israel's Daniel Blumen. He's also won the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. And then last to ride out in the catbird seat, Skylar Riley from the USA. She's having a great week. Any one of these riders can win, and we got a front row seat to watch this.
Looking at that leaderboard, I must tell you, I would have been hard-pressed to predict this one. When there were certain names that appeared today that I thought were a sure bet.
Well, that show jumping, Rodrigo Pessoa had a very unfortunate rail at the second-to-last jump. Lucy Delorier had just a light rub for 1 down. These are 2 very, very competitive horse rider combinations. Adrian Sternlich, a beautiful clear round with just a time fault. So there's been some really good
And
jumping.
Georgina Bloomberg.
Oh, Georgina was wonderful.
And
Wonderful,
Brianne
wonderful.
Brianne also.
Again, that's show jumping.
Yep.
How do you recoup? I've asked you this question, but how do you recoup when you miss that time fault and it puts you right over the edge, which happened to one of our competitors today? What goes through your head when you're in the parking
we
lot?
probably have the same answer. Go ahead, Carly.
Well,
Are you familiar with time faults?
speaking from experience, as I had a wonderful time fault yesterday, I went home and I watched that round probably 100 times. And, you just learn from experience, you learn from your mistakes, and you hopefully never make the same mistake twice. So watching those videos is your best friend and the best way to learn, and watching everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing when you have a time fault that holds you from a clear round and being in the jump off is to understand why you had the time fault, and when you go out there the next time, how you can do it without having the time fault, where you could have made up the difference so that next time it doesn't happen again. The frustrating thing about a time fault is that it's your responsibility, it's within your power for that not to happen. And oftentimes being under the time allowed is a matter of judgment and sort of just experienced feel for how fast the course is riding and how fast or slow you're going. So, that's the rider's responsibility. It's the course designer's challenge.
So the mental aspects of this you have to work out also.
Yeah,
in addition to the physical
in terms
aspects.
of rebounding, you said, how do you rebound? Well, competitors and winners like Carly and in this case Adrian Sternlick, you come back, you get a little hungry, you get a little angry, you get a little upset, and you go ahead and you do it better the next time.
Okay. I'm told by our director, Matt Hindra, that we're going to keep an eye on the screen, because at some point the animation for the course
for the jump off
will be popping up. So we will divert our attention in that direction. But meanwhile, look at this. We were talking to a number of individuals and officials that this course likes water, doesn't it?
Yeah, the ground here, the more water, the better. It makes the ground a little tighter, so the horses get a good push off the ground, and that's what they're doing right now. They're watering and rolling the footing so the horses can turn tight and get a good jump, a good crisp jump off the ground. Now here we go to our jump off course. It starts over by the in gate. We jump an obstacle coming away from the in gate. It's 7 or 8 strides to the original fence 1. Then they gallop around the water jump. You don't see it in the diagram, to the B element of the triple. Then a sharp left turn. You gallop right on over to what was 7AB. This proved to cause a lot of rails in the first round. Then you go straight into the left to the Jaguar gate. That's a 1.65 meter gate at this point. A left-hand turn to a new jump. This is a red and white vertical, and then you fly to the last. It's going to be very exciting to see how fast the riders go and what strides they do.
Any thoughts, Carly, on this jump off?
Well, Friday's Grand Prix qualifier in the jump off, Skylar Riley was first to go, and she laid down a very precise and well executed jump off clean. In doing so, that put pressure on the whole rest of the clear rounds for the jump off to follow suit and try to beat her time. Right. By doing that, she put pressure. You ended up seeing a lot of rails.
Yep.
So I think it's up to Stephen Blumen to kind of set the pace, set the standard, and we'll see what follows. But I think Peter's right. I think this is going to be a very fast jump off.
What's so cool about this? You not only have competitors, but the fact that we have 2 brother competitors. And we saw yesterday that Stephen was actually riding, even though he was seated here with us,
he was riding with his
brother.
Every rub, every turn.
You could see that whole mental aspect. So as one brother rides, that brother will be riding with him, and when that other brother takes the course, this is going to be lethal.
They're there for each other.
This is going to be something.
A couple of things about today's jump-off. Skylar Riley, like you said, Carly, who went first in the Friday Grand Prix qualifying Grand Prix, she goes last today in the big class. So a little twist of fate and good fortune for her. The stridings between the obstacles have some options. From 1 to 2, there's a screaming 7 strides. Or there's a nice 8 strides. We're going to have to see what the riders choose to do. You go early in the course, do you put it all out there? Do you do this flying 7? And then you've got a couple of really tight turns in the course. And then to the last jump, there's a really aggressive, fast 8 strides or a conservative 9. Allie Keeling sounding the call, getting ready for our exciting jump off.
Just as a visual, he is standing next to one of the jumps in the jump off,
right.
And that is a very big
That's
vertical.
Taller than he is, and that is the second to last jump in the jump off. That's a new jump number 16.
They've switched the gate to putting 2 rails on top to encourage a little bit more speed, as you'd say in the jump off, and they'll have to roll back to that red, very, very tall vertical to come home to that Oxer to finish.
First to go, Stephen Blumen, our co-commentator from Fridays.
So you mentioned McLean Ward as your pick, Carly?
Well, who is your pick, Carly?
I'd say the man of pure steel concentration. The Rock.
Okay, so who's your
Mr.
pick?
McLean Ward.
Okay, so Mr. Ward it is. Ernie, who's your pick? Quick.
Daniel Blumen.
Daniel Blumen. Okay, and we're off to fence number 1.
And yours?
Doing the 8 strides, but not paying off, unfortunately. I think that's going to encourage the next riders to kick forward and go in 7.
Yeah, so
And
Stephen
Peter,
taking a shot for
your
1
pick,
to 2.
if I
It
may,
didn't work.
so I can record it.
McLean Ward of the USA.
Okay, 2 McLeans and 1 Daniel.
I only have about 7 reasons why. So at this point, Stephen wants to be as fast as he can, but leave the jumps up and hopefully finish up somewhere 3rd or 4th. All right, so he's in the clubhouse with 1 down.
40:49.
In a time of 40.49 seconds, so I think he did a pretty good track. You know, I mean, that's the disadvantage of going first. He really showed us that how that first line is going to ride. He really got there very, very deep in 8 strides. So 4 faults for Stephen Blumen. He's our current leader with 6 riders left to go. In the ring comes Ireland's Paul O'Shea on the veteran mount, Machu Picchu. He's going up to take a look at the rollback on the new jump. See that red vertical? Because turning really tight on that jump is a place where Paul believes he can be faster than the others. And that's a smart thing to go and see. Paul looking over where he's going. He's got his reins nice and short. Picks up a gallop. Let's see what he does. Looks like he's going to take a shot. Fence 1 is down.
It's that. I think it's the
Oh
jump.
my goodness.
It's out to get these riders today.
All right, so Paul wants to be faster than Stephen and leave the jumps up.
He's got to beat a time of 40.49.
Does the 7. Now here's that tall red vertical he took a look at in his entrance. Does the 9 strides home.
And has the time.
Good on the clock. 39.19 seconds. Our current leader with 1 down.
Still no clears.
So early rails in the jump-off course for our first 2 competitors. Ireland's Paul O'Shea, our current leader. And in from Great Britain comes Matthew Bodie. Balotelli, 5, is his mount. And he's winding up for number 1.
Nine strides.
Does the 9. Looks like he's riding for a clear round, a neat clear. He's moving, but he's not leaving it all out on the table.
Could still earn him a good prize for today's class.
In big jumping events like this, oftentimes a neat double clear ends up on the podium. Good turn on the big. Oh! That's a surprise.
It looks
Now we
like
know
the
why.
horse just didn't get his eye on that.
Yep. I think Matthew just took it a little bit for granted.
I think the challenge of that rollback is the fact that those horses might have their eye on that Longines vertical.
That's correct. So that's a total of 19 penalties, 2 for the rails, 4 faults for the refusal.
The subtleties of Alan Wade's jump off today, as we're finding. Rails at number 1, 2, and that turn back to the very tall red vertical is posing to be a little more challenging than anticipated.
Matthew very disappointed with that round. He knows he had the opportunity to put in a neat double clear. His horse is jumping so well, and he just let his guard down. You can't fall asleep on a roll back to a 1.55 vertical. Now, last Hampton Classics winner, Mario Delorier, this time on Eurus de Rock. He's picking up a gallop. This is Canada's one and only representative in the jump-off. Does the 8 strides, beautifully done. Mario fresh back from the Tokyo Olympics. Still clear, very smooth, very smooth. Horse is jumping great. Gets the 7. Oh, a little rub. That might get him home. There's 2 jumps to go. Still clear. Does the 8 strides home? He's done it.
He does it. 39.43.
Mario Delorier puts the first clear round in our jump off on the board in quite a fast time.
With 3 left.
39.43 with 3 to go.
That's going to now start putting a bit more pressure on these last 3 riders.
That's for sure. I mean, I think that Mario did it just about right. He went just fast enough, like you said, Carly, to put pressure on these last 3. But these last 3 are good enough. They can do it.
Well, I think the one that can handle the most pressure is coming into the ring now.
McLean Ward, no stranger to pressure, no stranger to the winner's circle. 7-time winner of this very Grand Prix. Fresh back from the Olympic Games, riding anchor for the U.S. team, who garnered a silver team medal in Tokyo. This is his Olympic mount, Contagious. To me, being fast from 2 to 3 in the jump-off is a place where McLean can get ahead of Mario, and also from that Jaguar vertical back to the red. Can't turn back on 7AB too much. Let's watch the master. He does 7 strides. My goodness, he's not holding back at all. Still up.
He's going to want to take a little bit of time here to the combination.
Come on, McLean. 3, 4, 5. Does the 7. He's 2 jumps from home. He's way ahead on the clock. Look at the split time.
Time to beat is 39.43.
What's he going to do home? He puts in the 9. It's still up. Wow. Well into the lead.
Spectacular.
36.79.
McLean Ward. He didn't just try to beat Mario by a little. He went out, laid it down. USA's McLean Ward looking for his 8th Hampton Classic Grand Prix victory. My goodness. Is that beatable, Carly?
I think we've got 2 very fast riders to follow, but that was pretty fast.
My goodness,
Now, we thought the pressure was on before.
He really turned
Now
it on.
it's really on. I think these riders are going to have to get 7 in that first line if they're going to want to try to beat that time.
What a treat for us to watch show jumping at its best. Now, Olympic veteran, 1-time Hampton Classic winner Daniel Blumen on the young mare Gemma.
I think there's a reason why McLean has that Longines band around his arm.
Does the 7 strides. Daniel's taking a shot. This is your pick, Ernie. He's going for it. You can't count him out. Look, he's gambling. He's gambling. Wow, look at that.
Does it pay off? It pays off.
He left a stride out coming into that big double.
Time to beat
How
again.
How tight can he turn? And will he do the 8
36.79.
home? Look, he left out to the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Wow.
Look at the
Does
clock.
He have it? Does he have it?
Daniel Blumen.
34.75.
Look at that.
With that Blumen enthusiasm.
Oh, my goodness.
What a performance.
Take that, McLean Ward and USA.
That's a winner.
All right,
Oh,
Ernie.
my
Simmer
Lord.
down over there. We've got one more. She might come and
34
beat
points.
your pick.
He
anyone who
beat
could do it.
McLean Ward at what I'm going to say almost his best by 2 seconds.
Just
it
when
on.
we didn't think
Look
it could
at
get
that.
any faster.
Oh, that's great.
I didn't think it could be done. I really didn't.
What a jump off. Here we go.
Israel's Daniel Blumen holding on to the lead. Skylar Riley, what does she have to lose?
What
Last
do you have
one.
to lose? You go all out. If you were in there, Carly, right now, or Peter,
You're just
Go for
gonna
it.
you're gonna send it.
Why not? Why not? Who wants to ride for 4th place?
34.75 time to beat.
Skylar Riley from the
This is it.
USA.
It's all on the line.
This is a big strided horse. Look, but that was 8 strides, I think. Okay.
Maybe she thinks here by getting 8 she could make a tighter turn back to the Longines. Let's see if that
He's a
pays
bit
off.
Still
slow.
clear.
I think this just might be off the pace from Daniels.
Let's see what happens.
7.
Ooh, very deep in the 7. She leads
tight
it
turn
up.
back.
She's being cautious.
She's 2 seconds over at the split time.
Time to beat of 34. I don't think she's got it, but does she go into second?
Nope, that's going to be 3rd place. 3rd place, a fantastic finish for Skylar Riley. She was on the podium Friday, on the podium today.
What a
A
spectacular
fantastic
jump off.
go. But
Exciting,
what
exciting.
a jump off.
jump off. What a win for Israel's Daniel Blumen. I mean, unbelievable.
Totally unpredictable.
I mean,
Well, Ernie, you predicted it.
I hate
Well,
to admit it,
You
but
picked
I
it.
didn't think McLean Ward could be beat.
I
But,
agree.
You know,
He put it
Blumen,
down.
It's passion, and I saw it in the brothers.
Passion,
and you
talent.
get it, and you get it, and I get it. That they were really they think it through like you do, and like you both teach. You mentioned teaching is part of your career now,
Yeah.
and there was some lesson to be learned.
Talent, passion, guts. I mean, he did it all. Let's get a look at our recap.
Deserves it.
Israel's Daniel Blumen, our winner today in the $300,000
By a full 2
Hampton
seconds.
Classic Horse Show Grand Prix presented by Land Rover. Won it by 2 seconds over 7-time winner McLean Ward.
Wow.
7-time winner of the Hampton Classic Grand Prix. A 5-time Olympian. McLean Ward on his Olympic mount, Contagious. And then 3rd on the podium. 3rd today, Skylar Riley and Robin Penthal. She was spectacular. 2nd on Friday. 3rd today. What a great show. 4th, Mario's Delorier on Eurus de Rock. And Ireland's Paul O'Shea in 5th. Daniel's brother, Stephen Blumen, finishing in 6th. And Matthew Boddy in 7th for Great Britain. What a great, exciting jump off.
This is going to be one heck of a press conference. So do you think?
I agree.
You
I
think
mean, this is going to be
there's going to be steam coming out of McLean's ear.
steam
I
all
mean,
the way.
It's one thing to get beat when you didn't put in your round, but I think McLean walked out of the ring thinking, I put in my round. I think I've got this class
he
in the
was on
bag.
his Olympic mount. And you can't go any right.
He did the screaming 7
Can't go
from
any
1
more.
to 2.
He did all he could do. He rode a fantastic jump off and put that pressure on Daniel. And today, Daniel and his horse together had it in them to take the win.
He answered the call. He said, McLean, you put it up there on the board. I'm going to do it one better,
But Daniel did it with 2 seconds.
which is incredible.
Which is incredible.
Really, really incredible.
Which is incredible.
Daniel
wow.
did all the leave outs. He did the leave out from 1 to 2, the leave out to 3 in terms of the distance in the turn. He did an incredible leave out to 7AB, that rollback. He took risk. He really had a lot of confidence in his horse to leave out coming into that vertical axle double for his horse to be careful and leave it up. Then he left out to the second to last, did the 8 home. Magnificent, absolutely
Excellent.
magnificent.
Well, I don't know if I think they might be doing some presentation on the course here, so
Oh, they
we'll
sure
stick
are.
around for that. And of course, we're going to be bringing you the press conference. I know Carly has some questions.
I mean, I just watched a beautiful riding lesson
You
from
did. This
all
was
of
a
these
lesson
riders.
in all sorts of things. We don't expect anything less here at the Hampton Classic.
It was no disappointment. It lived up to every expectation.
This is
The
definitely
Hampton
the
Take a look.
Classic
We're,
Grand
horse
we're
Prix.
show of
looking
the
at the
summer right
field,
here.
and there's Daniel Blumen. What a
well
winner!
earned.
One of the most exciting Hampton
Handsome
Classic
boys,
victories.
two brothers there, and wow,
I
they
have to
came
say,
here to
Ernie,
win it.
All the years I've been watching the Hampton Classic Grand Prix and riding it, I think this was one of the most perhaps the most exciting victory I've ever seen.
I see Shanette Barth Cohen there, and Dennis Susskind, our president of the Hampton Classic.
Look at how calm and cool this horse is. It's not jigging.
All the
It
dignitaries.
looks like,
Look
like
at
it's
this.
just, out there for a nice
She's
Sunday trail ride.
used
And
to
that
winning.
beautiful Longines watch.
Longines, Land Rover, Lugano, our sponsors. So wonderful.
This is what it's all about. And to get that ribbon, that beautiful ribbon.
This is Daniel's second Hampton Classic Grand Prix victory. He won it
How
a few
beautiful
years
the
ago
horse
on
is.
Landriano.
He's looking right at us.
What a beautiful gray mare. Gemma, this is a spectacular horse.
Look how Gemma knows.
She knows.
Many treats tonight for Gemma.
Yes, Gemma.
Well deserved.
Take that, Hamptons.
There you go. There you go. She's
Gemma from Israel did it all.
right at home at center.
Look at
That's
that.
a-
Whoa.
That's a
bottle of
big-
rosé.
Wow.
Big
I think
bottle.
they're going to have some fun celebrating tonight.
I think the big party will be at the Blumen
Yeah.
suite, that's for sure.
They party at the Blumens tonight.
A magnificent
that is
victory.
Great. That is great. Look at that. I tell you, it's really wonderful that we were able to witness this.
And such a beautiful
It made for a
expression on that
contest.
mare.
You know, we've had Hampton Classics where there really were no contests. It happens.
I will say, leave it to Alan Wade to build a jump off that gets more and more exciting as it goes.
Oh.
Well, such a well done
This
course
was
today,
a killer. This was really.
and
Look
a
at this young
spectacular
fellow. Look how
field.
happy he is. Wow.
As much as he's won, I'm sure this is one of the most special victories of his career.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
And here we are
So
to
we
listen
get a
to
chant?
the national anthem.
Congratulations again to Daniel Blumen for
The
Israel.
Hampton Classic is truly an international event.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant jumping. You're watching the best of the best here in Bridgehampton. There's McLean Ward with his second place finish, and he's got that cooler on. My gut is that he is the Longines
He most
leading
certainly
rider.
is.
There's look at the
think
check
so.
that
He won the
Whoa.
class
Getting-
on
That's
Friday.
some check there. Wow.
He won the class on Thursday. He was second today. I don't think there is a single rider
Look at
that
that.
came close to beating him in this best rider, the leading rider award.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So he gets another watch. He gets a beautiful cooler. He gets a nice check, all courtesy of the magnificent timing and watch company, Longines.
And we thank Longines for their sponsorship, not only here at the Hampton Classic, but throughout the world.
He gets another one of those big bottles of rosé.
Yeah.
Love that. There he is with his Olympic mount, Contagious. You know, I really
Job
believe
well done,
McLean
McLean.
did his job. He did everything he was supposed to do today. And it's one of those classes where you have to go after that performance to beat it. You know, why go any faster if you don't have to? And Daniel Blumen not only knew what he had to do, but had the ability and talent to go out and do it.
Yep.
And USA came in second and third,
That's right.
albeit
I'd say
that we
that's-
didn't pick up number one,
No, that's okay.
but we came in
Skylar
second
Riley
and third.
picking up her third place ribbon. She had a brilliant Hampton Classic. She was second in the Friday Grand Prix qualifier, third today in the $300,000 Sunday Grand Prix with this very horse. Absolutely brilliant.
And our victory gallop, look at this.
3 great horses, 3 fantastic riders.
Congratulations to our winners.
You're watching the best of the best. Absolutely magnificent show jumping. I thought Alan Wade designed spot on today for this 4-star $300,000 Grand Prix. I love this mare.
Yes.
Look at this mare.
What a spectacular
She's
mare.
just loping around.
That's it.
I don't think my grandmother could do as good a job as Daniel, but I think my grandmother could lope around on her for a safe Sunday afternoon
She's
ride.
very sweet
Absolutely
and loves
fantastic.
the crowds like Daniel. Loves the adulation, loves the crowds, loves all that this is about. Look at that, she's going right to the edge there,
Yep,
right to
right
the
on
grandstand.
the grass. Wouldn't be surprised if Gemma takes a little nibble before she goes out.
I think we're going to be seeing Gemma and Daniel
I
for
mean,
years
Gemma's
to come
got
here.
such good character. I think she could come into the chalet with us for the press
I
conference.
think so. If you can, maybe we'll get an interview.
There we go. Daniel Blumen
You
gets
gotta
off
love
his
the,
mount.
You guys love the sport. This is your life. But for those of us who don't experience as much, we do it, on a rare basis here when we broadcast
Well,
these.
Ernie,
This is great. This
As
is great
good as
stuff.
it is being here with you in a front row seat to watch this, Carly and I would rather be in that victory
Well,
gallop.
Yep.
That
Next
would
year.
that would be one better.
That's-
We were just talking when we looked at the start-off jumping field. There's a lot of choice.
Great, we got an interview.
The last 12 months have seen a lot of calendar changes. There's plenty of places you could be this weekend. Former winners McLean Ward, former winner Mario Delorier, and former winner Daniel Blumen, all with us here at the Hamptons. I think once you've won at this show, you always want to come back, don't you?
Yeah, well, this show is definitely important for me for many reasons, but the owners are here of the horses. Our business is around here. We have a farm here in New York as well, so there's a lot to it, and it's always a great vibe. You get to have this atmosphere here in America, this amazing crowd, and it really just changes the sport when you have people bringing so much power and energy in the atmosphere.
And tell us a little bit about Gemma, because you've had 2 good runs with Gemma in the quality, and now just taking that a little further into the win here.
Yeah, well, in the qualifier, I Gemma jumped spectacular. I was last to go in the jump off. I had seen McLean go right before me, so I really had an idea of what I had to do to win it, and unfortunately it didn't pay off. We were all in the same second, but I didn't clinch the win. I ended up 4th, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed. I really thought that I should have won that class, and then, today, I said if I'm in the same position, then I'm not going to leave anything out. And McLean went right before me, puts a blazing time. The crowd is going crazy. McLean is like an absolute champion, you know, an idol for all of us. And for me, it was at that point not about winning the Hampton Classic. You know, I had won the Hampton Classic before. For me, it was about beating McLean Ward, and that was incredible.
You absolutely answered my next question. I didn't know if you'd seen McLean, if you had any comprehension of how fast he'd gone. I think he thought there was an Olympic medal on offer, the speed he went. How do you think it was possible to go faster? Where do you think you made the difference?
I did not only see McLean. I was inside of the ring as McLean was going, and then I you know when McLean crossed the timers, you know, the whole crowd was wild. And to tell you the truth, for me, there was not one single spot where I could go faster. I thought he had gone really, really fast. In my mind, I said, I'm gonna take every option that I can possibly take. You know, when I caught every corner, I'm not gonna take the conservative approach. I'm just gonna go. Gemma has been close to win a Grand Prix multiple times. You know, she's been second like 4 times, including in the big Rolex Grand Prix this year in Wellington. And today I just, you know, I really, if I was gonna lose, I had to lose, but at least having the fastest time, so I left it there.
Daniel, congratulations. Your second victory in the Hampton Classic. I'm sure you've got plenty more to do with press conferences. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us, a round of applause for your Hampton Classic champ, Daniel Blumen.
Thank you very much, John. Daniel, congratulations again. We thank you.
Congratulations to Daniel and to all of our winners today. Now we will be bringing our viewers the press conference. It's always good to see the commentary. So let's look at our winner board again. You're all familiar with this, and there's Daniel Blumen, the number 1, McLean Ward.
An absolutely spectacular Grand Prix jump off today. Israel's Daniel Blumen taking away the top spot. McLean Ward giving it his best, but not good enough. Finishing in second, USA's Skylar Riley in third, followed by Canada's Mario Delorier, Paul O'Shea from Ireland, and Israel Stephen Blumen. That's Daniel's brother. Well, what a day for the Blumen family.
So stay with us. We're going to be covering the press conference live. This is an international event. International press is here. This is a big story throughout the world. I think it's going to be amazing, especially in Israel, in fact, because here you go.
What a great
Another
victory.
great victory, but throughout the world. So stay with us. You're watching WVVH-TV's coverage of the Hampton Classic Horse Show. Press conference to follow.